Hello, subscribers. Another SOS has surfaced from Austria as they ask for help. And those within inverted commas can face up to a year in prison, or who knows, even more. I don't think they're going to let you go scotch free after a whole year, especially if you haven't taken their injection. The inmates will have to bear all the costs incurred during their prison stay. Austrians are pleading for the world to help end the rapidly emerging police state. The country's V-mandate law will take effect on February 1st, 2022. The unmarked people, including children as young as 14 years old, can be fined up to €2,000 each time they are caught. In addition, the government can ticket the same individuals several times a day. If you refuse to pay your fine, offenders will be thrown in a special prison for the unmarked people for up to a year, or as I said, they can decide what to do with you afterwards. As I said, I don't think they will let you loose. There's a possibility that these people can be executed afterwards. Unlike other prisoners, the public purse will not pay for an individual's incarceration. Instead, the inmate will have to bear the costs incurred during their prison stay. The perpetrator also has to pay for his food and his prison cell. The Austrian government does not ask murderers, rapists, or pedophiles to pay the cost of their incarceration. However, they will now demand prison payments of those refusing the mark of the beast. And this political activist, Alexander, whose surname I will not dare say because I fear that I may butcher it, has released an emergency call for help on social media. I need your help, he said. We as Austrians all need your support, so please go to your government officials, to your local Austrian embassy, and ask them to apply as much pressure on the Austrian government as possible. He goes on to say that Austria's new unelected Chancellor, Karl Nehammer, is the former chief of police and has implemented police state-like measures in recent months. And the Austrian political activist explains he wants to continue to do that in a way which can only be called tyrannical and totalitarian. We need your support, he emphasized. Please stop the Austrian government from turning our country into a police state. We as Austrians are the lab rats of the Western free world. If it happens to us, it will happen to other countries. Rightly so, because Austria is the epicenter of the Fourth Reich. It starts there, but it's going to spread to all country and nation, as we're going to read in Bible scripture. We don't want to have the quarantine camps, explains this activist. We do not want to have those terrible rules which divide families, that divide the people, divide not only the faithful but every Austrian. 1/3 of the Austrian population has refused to be injected with these experimental injections. The government has responded by criminalizing opposition to their experimental injection global program of the entire population. This is highly undemocratic. So let us go to our scriptures, which I have selected. So first we start with Revelation, chapter 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So it's very clear here that now war is being waged upon the saints. It is unfolding now. War is being waged. He, the Antichrist, although he hasn't been revealed yet, he hasn't taken center stage, he is operating from the shadows and he is persecuting the saints. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, which means that is coming to your doorstep and my doorstep. All right? It's the epicenter has been revealed. It's in Austria, it's in Australia, but it's going to come to everybody's door. And as we heard, Prince Charles recently addressed the COP26 group. He made reference to a hymn, if you listened carefully, whereby he said that he will be given he will have trillions of dollars at his disposal so he can roll out his military might, something to that effect. So there you have it. These leaders are already hinting to him, so his unveiling must be very soon. Verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the word. And verse 10 goes on to say, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Let us go now to Matthew 24. And we shall start at verses 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So there you have it, all nations. It's repeated again. War shall be waged against saints in all nations. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Let's skip down to verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. We need to endure. We need to remember that. Then we go down to verse 16, where it speaks of escape. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Let's stop there for a moment. Imagine the elderly, the disabled, and people with very young children, how difficult it is going to be to escape, to flee from their homes, to leave their jobs behind, to escape from this tyrannical regime. And even so, let's continue reading in verse 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. We are heading into a deep, cold, dark winter. We have already seen temperatures that are very low. In Sweden, the lowest temperature has been recorded as of these past 5 days since 88 years. Although we haven't officially started winter, we are already in it. A cold, dark winter, and these people are having to flee in the winter. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. And verse 25, behold, I have told you before, the Lord is warning us. So one of his warnings is telling us here in these verses here that begin from verse 16, And to verse 20, it's speaking about fleeing out of the cities. It's fleeing away from from these tyrannical governments. It's very clear. The Lord is warning us. Those who are able to flee should flee. And one last thing, if there are persecuted Christians who are fleeing into your country, please help them. Give them shelter, food, warmth, blankets, and enable them to flee as much as possible. Remember what the Lord said himself. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was naked and you put clothing on me. Now is the time, because this persecution is worldwide, it's global, and there are going to be refugees of this nature, Christians who are being persecuted everywhere. God bless you all.